Welcome to Neptune Impact! I'm super excited to be standing here in front of you all. Wow! It's been 3 years. Almost feels strange, face to face with people again. As we move to make history together, I'm so glad we get to do it in this beautiful Oslo Opera House building. It's not bad for a tech event, right? Before we get started, I want to take a moment and thank our sponsoring partners today. We are so proud of the relationships we have built. And today's event are always... Today we have an amazing agenda that you can check on our app. You can discover more on Neptune at the entrance with our sponsors' booths and also at the Neptune G2 stand. We're going to kick off the day in the best way possible with our vision. No one better to deliver this than our co-founder and CTO, Ole and our CPO, Matthias. I'll be at the end presenting the first view of our no-code tooling. So now, welcome on stage, Ole and Matthias.
So it has been very strange last years, but on the positive side, for the engineering team, it has been very productive. That's good. So we started back in 2011 with a brilliant idea to create a platform for ABAP developers to utilize their existing skill set to be the heroes creating web and mobile applications without learning new tool set.
So from there we moved on into digital experience. Back at the time, SAP was shifting from complex back-end transactions catering to the back-end experts into a more consumer-grade digital experience on top. Back then it was Neptune that made it really easy for all the SAP developers to build consumer-grade applications and digital experiences all from their known environment, the SAP GUI. That's what we call the Neptune Application Designer.
And some think of Neptune DXP as the best platform for SAP mobility. And it is, of course, and so do we. But there's so much more in our platform. So with the addition of Open Edition, we established one unified platform to allow you to develop enterprise apps to integrate with any system using API integration.
So there is no Neptune time without demo time, right? That has been a tradition and the way of us doing business. So I will share my screen here and we'll start with a small journey. Why are we creating this? So the app builder is a UX-driven no-code tooling that adds as a software as a service directly into our DXP portal. So formerly known account portal, now the XP portal, will add not only the mobile build service as a SaaS, but also now the app builder as a SaaS. Very good. So what you see here is the DXP portal. We did a soft launch last week on Friday, Thursday, if I recall correctly, where we just changed the look. Same services as the account portal, new look. Okay. So what we will do here today after the demo is that we're going to launch the app builder live on stage. So what you see here is the app builder, no code, straight from the account portal. And it starts by asking you what you want to do. I want to create a new project. And by creating a new project,
I'll be able to then to demo Impact 22. I want to run it, start on a tablet. Then it says, okay, let's select type of template. I have a blank idea, I want to start from my data. And we, on the development of this tool, who were our testers? Not our engineering, not our go-to-market, not our customer success people. So no developer would involved on making market proofing on this product. Who did we use? Our HR, our sales reps, our marketing. They're the ones that actually tested it. And everyone had a different perspective on it. Salespeople want, how do I start with my data? Marketing people were like, okay, forget data. I want how it looks.
The idea has been to utilize external APIs. Last time I counted, we were above 100. And on last Black Friday, we did more than 24 million external API calls. Having these figures, how did we prepare for being scalable? Before sharing more of Blueberry and its infrastructure, we'd like to introduce a bit ourselves and the companies we are representing. Over to you first, Andre.
Thank you. So, my name is Andre. I'm a senior system consultant with Elkjøp, and I've been working there since 2011. We've had the pleasure of working with Neptune DXP for 3.5 years now. And as Elkjøp is the market leader within electronic retail, it's crucial for us to have a good performing sales tool to keep the employees and customers happy. And within retail, for our clients. So when I share with you topics like innovation, disruption, agility, what's the first subject matter that comes to mind?
Neptune!
The only answer for that is finance. So we've been sort of in previous presentations, obviously, sharing a lot how Neptune has enabled sales reps, marketing reps, people on operations.
On the management of this solution, and that's also a part of our business case. So, starting with request application, and we have here some screens about that. So basically, the idea and one of the key advantages that we have is the level of integration into the backend system. So what we are trying to show here is the level of the information that we have that comes directly from the backend as far as the system. So imagine as simple as selecting a vendor or an open item to request a payment is something that is fully integrated, and an end user that is
really happening is something you're really familiar with is that business best practices have to get better every year, right? Everybody has to move faster, be more efficient, and what has always been the case, and that's what we're comfortable with, is that technology capabilities were always behind. It was always a compromise, right? The battery wouldn't last long enough. Actually, we haven't figured that out. The batteries don't last long enough still today, right? But the UX would be a compromise. The performance would be a compromise. The availability of the system is a compromise. The trusted technologist would translate the business requirement into a system that would run as good as you could. Something super interesting happened, depending on the technology, where you pinpoint that in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, where technology capability, you see the breakthrough, passed for the first time technology business requirements. Technology can do more than what business wants. And that creates a void. Yeah, there's 4-phase, legacy phase, everybody knows how to work there. Many of your SAP customers, thousands of people can size an SAP.
Systems are here to help us as humans to do and simplify our lives better. Simplify our lives, make them better. Make us more productive, focus on the job at hand, and less on the systems that companies do operate. So our next guest is Dussmann Group from Germany. And for them, it's all about the human factor. So they have 65,000 employees, they have a wide multicultural and diverse age groups, and their main focus is to increase employee engagement and productivity. So, representing Dussmann, I welcome to the stage Kristin Pullman.
which we took to start an employee portal for our desk workers, but something new as well for our frontline workers. And that journey started roughly 2 years ago, had a lead time of 3 months, and we implemented in that time roughly 23 apps. And I have the pleasure today to present that story to you, not just on my behalf, but actually on behalf of a cross-functional team. And this is something that we think makes us unique, and which was also a key factor for our success. So I'm not just here to introduce myself to you, but also to get you to know the faces of my colleagues, Katja and Roko, from Group Communication Group HR, because together we achieved what we have today, and which we're actually quite proud of. But before I tell you about our change story, you have to get to know us a little bit better.
Or another customer story. Cecil is a big player in the cement industry in Portugal, and are here to share their impressive digital transformation journey. Might sound like the typical thing, but what they've done is really amazing. The Cecil Digital Hub has touched almost all parts of the business. Together with our partner FutureView, they have improved not only the work life of their employees, but they also solidify their position in their market by creating more tight relationships with their suppliers and their customers. So I would like to welcome to the stage Carlos Lopes and Filipe Barreira.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Cecil Digital Journey. My name is Carlos Lopes and I'm part of the Cecil's IT team. Cecil is a Portuguese company operating in the construction material sector. Today I will present you the path that Cecil made in the last 2.5 years with Neptune DXP platform. I would like to thank you, Neptune, this great opportunity for us to share our experience. With me is Filipe Barreira, who is also participating in this journey.
So, because we're a little bit behind schedule, I would like to invite you to follow us, not only on LinkedIn, but follow us over to the entrance to grab some delicious food, engaging on conversations. So, from Redmond, please welcome James Governor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you had a nice lunch. I've only got 25 minutes, so I better crack on. Developer experience and the low-code paradox. So I'm the low-code skeptic at a low-code conference, so we'll see how this goes. But yeah, our focus is really about software developers. My company spends its time trying to understand the decisions software developers make and the impacts that has in terms of IT in general. Now, Monkchips is my Twitter handle, so if any of you are frantically tweeting about your outrage at his perspective on low-code, that's fine. Content thrives on two main things in the world. One is outrage, the other is confirmation bias. So hopefully...
Working together and make teams work. And Christine from Dusman mentioned exactly that they externally and internally are a team that works as a team. And that's how we want our software to be able to be used. Fusion teams, regardless of who you are, what is your skill set, there is something you can do to contribute to team effort. Our next guest showcases how to make the world greener. And this is something very close to my heart. And this company has been aiming to bring more efficiency and transparency for the renewable energy market. Her name is Pekur, and I would like to welcome on stage Hans-Peter and Rune.
Thank you very much. We got this invitation this weekend, so it caught us a little bit by surprise. But thank you very much anyway. BCOR actually stands for Be Courageous, so we had to grab this opportunity to be on stage. Of course. We will talk about BCOR as a company today, and also how we have used Neptune in our road to building our platform. HP here has been stuck in this meeting room for the last 2 years, and obviously not have a roof of his big globe, but just a small, boring one. So the first question he asked is, can I bring my big globe? Yeah. So HP, please.
Yeah, so this is Mother Earth, and she is struggling. And it does not really look like that, but we have some serious problems when it comes to taking care of Mother Earth.
Ionic have recently announced a partnership in order to bring Capacitor, which is a modern architecture for building hybrid applications compared to Cordova. And we want to provide this as a full automated service for all Neptune customers. Capacitor services the current and future hybrid mobile application architecture, and therefore they are the future of hybrid applications. And therefore, I would like to welcome from Ionic, Thomas Vidas.
Awesome! Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? Good. Yeah, this has been a great conference. Let's give a round of applause for all the super happy to be here to talk to you guys about Capacitor. So let me give you a quick rundown on who I am. My name is Thomas Vidas, and I am the developer experience engineer working on Capacitor, which, as mentioned previously, is a way of taking web code and compiling it down to an iOS or Android binary. We're going to talk a little bit about what that means and how you can use that with Neptune. First of all, let's talk about what is Capacitor. It's an open source, free to use platform for making web native applications for Android, iOS, desktop, and more. It's built by Ionic, the team that has Ionic Framework, and we make a ton of open source, free to use, MIT licensed products. It's the successor to legacy frameworks like Cordova and PhoneGap, if you've heard of those before. Now you may be wondering, what does that mean? I've never heard of any of these things. I'm not a developer. So let's talk about it.
Thank you to all sponsors and to all judges and participants of the hackathon. So thank you to Ionic, Zebra, and Microsoft for sponsoring it, and also all the solutions will be shared on the Neptune community as application building blocks. And we have a winner. We're going to start with the third place, then second place, and then first place. So let's start with the third place. Please.
Hi everybody, I'm Mattia, this is the Despina team, and we are very happy to be here and present the Energy Saver app. So let me introduce the team. I'm Mattia, with me there is Blagoj.
I'm Goran.
Hi, I'm Silvan.
Piero.
Okay, so what is the idea?
Okay, thank you all. It was an amazing journey today. Okay, we really appreciate the conference. Only one introducing words. Okay, I'm not a developer. We speak about pro code, low code, so on. I'm a CEO, so basically I don't code anymore. It's been 20 years. And yesterday for me was an occasion to understand better what is the capability of this platform. Okay, the guys were really amazing, and when the game get tough, I went to dinner, so I didn't. They concluded for me, so I'm here to take the advantage. As all the bosses do with everyone, particularly the developers. Okay, so basically the key idea is to, let's say, save energy. Okay, how can we do this? Okay, by intelligent light and bulb, but basically Alexa, we got plenty of devices that do this. Okay, our idea was to adjust the brightness automatically and do some reporting according to the geolocalization of the bulb. Okay, so to allow, for example, here I was impressed with the northern light. Okay, there's no need to be for the bulb to be up until 8, 9, 10 o'clock. Okay, so the thing was to control remotely the bulb in the office, to receive notification in case someone forgot to turn off the light, okay, receive warning messages in case of inefficiency, and the capability to adjust the brightness. Okay, I stopped myself because I let the guys explain you better because I don't understand exactly what they have done. But I can assure you it works.
What we actually did here, we mainly used the Neptune Open Edition. We make the solution divided in two main units. The one was the server controlling and the second one was the application. What we used from the Neptune Open Edition technologies, it was the Neptune database. Then we used the server scripting. We also used the front end for building the application. We used SAP UI5, and of course the API of the bulb itself. So here we control the effects, saturations, and further settings. Here we used prepared building blocks, so everything was fast and ready to use. Of course, the application, when we started to thinking, we make the sketching, the prototype in the new Neptune application builder. Once we concluded that this is a good idea, we just moved to the application designer that is well known, and then we just continue to develop the application. Mainly, that was the solution of the application.
Okay, so this is the application. We recognize all the devices that are in a different place. So we can select the place, for example, Norway, Oslo. And here we see that there is one device.
Okay, here I would like to add, because due to some technical issues, we cannot really demonstrate what we did. Basically, the scenario was we were using only one light, one bulb. It is small scenario where we try to prove that the light is connected to the network. Then we use the device ID. Based on the device ID, we have a configuration in our database, and then we have the automatic location detection. So we run a server script that checks the geolocation and compares the actual location with the location of the bulb setup. It means that every device that is nearby you will appear in this list, so we'll get a control through the application. And the second part that I initially mentioned is the server controller. Our idea was to have automatic control, so by API of the geolocation, you detect where you are located. If it is, for example, night, it will turn on the lights. It is the automatic proposal, and of course you can make your own human control by the application. When the day is coming, the light is going down and it's saving energy, because all we know, we are humans and we usually forget to do switch on, switch off. Switch on we do, but switch off, no, usually forget.
You guys, but this is like running. Also, the fact that this solution is not only for lights, that actually can be applied to anything that can be IoT. Heating, on the floor, on the wall, AC, anything that can have sensors into it, you can actually do this. And they did this in a serverless way, meaning that there was nothing in between Neptune and the devices. So directly connecting and controlling. So very easy to set up kind of home hideout if you want to as well. Our next guests, welcome on stage.
Hello everybody, it's so nice to be here. Yeah, we had a great time yesterday at the hackathon. Our idea is this sort of the future of travel expenses. And this is the team. We have Ivan Louis here, Cesar, Deepa, and Tarja, and me, Tarja. And actually this is my first time with Neptune Impact yesterday, or Neptune. And yeah, it was very fun. So our idea is basically, because these guys work at this Norwegian service center for public companies and governmental departments, and they handle, amongst other things, over 1 million travels every year. So our app has focus on like encouraging workers to make more environmental, sustainable choices when they're out traveling. And first and foremost, it's like a new solutions for filling out travel expenses. So we imagine like in the future, this is very, you know, thinking about the triple bottom line and stuff like that. In addition to filing your expenses, you will also have to fill out your environmental cost when you're out traveling, you know. So here we have this mobile app where you can scan receipts. Like these, we imagine these QR codes are like the receipts in the future, and they will probably contain more data than today. So they will probably contain like CO2 emissions and maybe kilometers, and so here you can see like your trip shows up in this system. You can see where you've traveled and how many CO2 and kilometers your trip has cost. So this is like for the employees to fill out their travel expenses. We wanted to make like a smooth experience, like not have another thing that you have to do, but this is just like on top or instead of your current travel expense experience. And then we also made a management view. So as a manager or a boss where you have to manage employees, and also for the employees themselves, they can see diagrams on how well each department is doing in regards to emissions. And so here you can see how much CO2 each department is doing, and maybe inspire healthy competition between employees and stuff. So they, when they're out traveling, maybe they will choose to take electric taxis or maybe even ride bicycles around, so they don't get so many emissions. And also another thing is like missed flights. It's very expensive for the environment. So this also tracks or imagines we will track that. So I think that's about it.
We've really found interesting about this use case is because it's something that it's asked by customers to be implemented, right? And this is something that will help people avoid unnecessary travel that will return into less CO2 being emitted. At the same time, if you're conscious of how much you are emitting, you probably will be less driven to actually do so. So overall, classical, take a picture of your receipt and it just goes as a dumb picture, changed by the fact that you can have this kind of unwritten metadata to it that will create all of this kind of consciousness about sustainability and CO2. So
yeah, it's true.
Thank you. Our next guests were the winners. And the use case that they're going to present is unique, different, from the ones we've seen until now. All three of them are different, but they do have very interesting angle. I think this is probably, all the other applications could be potentially a B2B or B2B. This is an idea of an application driven by community. So please welcome on stage the winners of the Neptune Hackathon 2022.
Alright, hi everyone. The topic of yesterday's hackathon was sustainability. And because we don't know anything about building windmills or wind turbines, we know something about software and how the software can support business. We thought that we will just approach this topic a bit differently. And but before we start, let's meet our team. We're called Team Galatea. Galatea is one of the moons of Neptune. So please meet Daniel, Dennis, Juris, and Andreas. So Andreas, please explain us a bit about the problem that we've tried to resolve.
Yes, I will. Hello. Most probably you have been to Oslo and you have been experiencing the wonderful countryside, especially the seaside of Oslo. And who of you have been to the parks in Oslo? Just raise your hand. Anyone? They are great. They're wonderful. But they are experiencing a huge threat. And this threat comes from the normal threat as a city tree, from heat, from pollution, from small space in the soil, but nowadays, unfortunately, from climate change. It's not only the temperature that matters, but it's especially the dry time which brings the stress to the trees, and they are dying. Take a look at Würzburg, for example. It's a mid-sized town in Germany. We have about 140,000 inhabitants and a couple of 10,000 city trees. And each year there is dying about 1,000 trees in the city, which is really bad. And most of you have experienced one of the most wonderful moments in the parks among trees and have a connection to it. And the point is, how can we save the city trees? So, how can we save the city trees? Because the city trees actually saves us from heat and from dying at the end. And the idea is that we use community engagement so that every person can adopt a city tree or can find his city tree which is in the street in front of his house and care for it. And how it's done will be presented now.
Okay, thank you. So we thought about actually supporting the community or urban green offices by engaging community to help in looking after the trees. So one of the apps that we created is an inventory for trees. So it's a registry where we have information about each tree that has some strategical importance for the city, and created also an app for end user, for the community, so they can go around in their neighborhood. They find a tree, they can report that something is wrong happening with the tree, and they can send a picture of a leaf if something is not okay with that, and they can also look after what's going on with the tree that they have, let's say, adopted. And another component that we came up with is an AI component that recognizes the leaves. Based on the leaves, we are able to say whether the leaf represents a sickness of a tree or is a healthy one. So let's see this in a demo. Yeah, so I'll just refresh. All right. So in the map we have a list of trees, but actually they are coming from the database of Würzburg from Germany. So they are placed on the map. But let's focus on the Oslo area. We have a few trees that are in our inventory database. We can select one, and as you can see, each of the tree has a QR code. That QR code identifies the tree, so someone from the community can come to the tree. The tree could have a label with the treated QR code. Go in, click report the problem, scan the QR code, report that the leaf is, let's say, gray, and take a picture of it. I have some pictures here. Yeah, and submit the information about the tree. In this way, the urban green officers knows that something is wrong with that tree, because the information about the leaf, whether this is okay or healthy or sick, is updating the status of the tree. So just wanted to show you the this is should be a list of the trees and the pictures that I have reported. Those demo also are not with us today. Okay, maybe not today. But I wanted to quickly show you that the AI, how it works. So we have two pictures of the leaf. One is sick, one is healthy, at least on the visual. If I select this one, the AI tells us that this tree is sick. And if I take the other one, yeah, it's healthy. So thank you very much.
The cool thing of all of this is not just a brilliant idea. It has actually a real-life database and use case behind it that can be community-driven. Then using the power of machine learning and AI to actually simplify the way for services to be signaled, say something is wrong with this tree or not. Therefore, reducing the manual or human effort of identifying that. Obviously, not picture perfect, but works. Thank you, and I would like to welcome everyone from the hackathon on stage for a big applause.